The old Willow Creek Children's Hospital had been abandoned for decades, its crumbling facade and shattered windows serving as a grim reminder of a dark past. Locals whispered that something sinister lingered within its walls, a presence that fed on fear and loneliness. Once filled with the sounds of laughter and the gentle voices of nurses, the hospital was now a decaying tomb, swallowed by shadows and haunted by the restless souls of those who never made it out. No one dared to venture near after nightfall. It was said that if you stood close enough, you could hear the faint echoes of children crying, their sorrowful pleas carried on the wind. When the lights of the nearby town flickered off, it was almost as if the building itself took a breath, waiting for someone brave or foolish enough to cross its threshold. Tonight, that someone was Alex. Driven by curiosity and the thrill of uncovering secrets long buried, he stepped through the broken gate, flashlight in hand, unaware that once inside, there would be no turning back. The heavy iron gate creaked as Alex pushed it open, the sound reverberating through the still night like a warning. He took a deep breath, glancing over his shoulder to make sure no one was watching. His friends had dared him to enter the hospital, claiming he'd never last more than 5 minutes inside. Alex intended to prove them wrong. The flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing chipped paint peeling off the walls like old skin. The air was suffocating, heavy with the smell of mold and something else, something metallic, like rust or blood. As he stepped into the main hallway, his footsteps echoed unnaturally, almost as if the walls themselves were listening. Alex hesitated at the entrance to what used to be the reception area. Faded posters of cartoon characters grinned down at him from the walls, their colors long since bled away. He could almost imagine it as it once was. Cheerful nurses bustling around, children's laughter filling the air. But now, the silence was oppressive, broken only by the distant sound of dripping water. He moved further inside, passing doors labeled Pediatrics and Psychiatric Ward. His heart pounded as he saw a set of rusted elevator doors at the end of the hall. The old rumors flashed in his mind. Stories of the children who were trapped on the upper floors when the fire broke out, their tiny fists banging on these very doors as the flames consumed them. "Just a story," he whispered to himself, though his voice sounded hollow in the emptiness. The light flickered. Alex's pulse quickened as he realized he was standing in front of room 13. One of the rooms, they said, was cursed. Hesitating, he slowly turned the knob and pushed the door open. The flashlight revealed overturned beds and empty IV stands. The walls were covered in what looked like scribbled crayon drawings, except the images were twisted. Children with empty eyes, disfigured creatures lurking in corners, and dark figures looming over tiny, terrified faces. He shuddered and was about to turn back when he noticed something chilling. One of the beds had fresh sheets, clean, untouched by the dust that coated everything else. But it wasn't empty. A small, shadowy figure sat upright, covered by a thin white sheet. It was too small to be an adult, about the size of a child. The figure's head turned slowly, and beneath the sheet, Alex could see the outline of a smile stretching impossibly wide. "Stay," a faint, childlike voice whispered. Panic gripped Alex's chest, and he stumbled back. The figure moved, sliding off the bed and landing softly on the ground with a sound like bare feet padding on cold tiles. Alex's flashlight flickered wildly, casting jagged shadows across the room. He ran to the door, but before he could reach it, the light went out completely, plunging him into darkness. The voice giggled again, closer now. The door slammed shut behind him with a deafening bang. Alex's breath came in ragged gasps as he fumbled for his phone, desperate for any source of light. As the screen illuminated, he saw them, small handprints appearing on the walls around him, smearing red trails in the darkness. "Don't leave us," the voices chorused, overlapping in a sinister harmony. Alex screamed, throwing himself against the door, but it wouldn't budge. The handprints closed in, and he felt icy fingers brush against his arm. He spun around, phone clattering to the floor, and in the dim glow, he saw their faces, dozens of ghostly children, their eyes dark, empty voids. "Play with us," the little girl from the hallway whispered, stepping forward. Her face was charred and twisted, a permanent smile etched into her ruined skin. Alex backed away, his heart hammering, but the children closed in, surrounding him in a tightening circle. The last thing he saw was the girl reaching out, her cold fingers gripping his wrist. Then, the light from his phone went out, leaving only the sound of his frantic breathing and the children's laughter filling the darkness. By morning, the hospital was silent once more. The only trace of Alex's presence was his phone, lying shattered on the ground, its screen still displaying a single message: "Stay forever."